Hello YouTube, welcome to my 1 year ownership review of my Triumph Tiger 800 ABS. So first of all, I'm going to start with the add-ons that I've done. I can't remember if I mentioned the beak in the last video, which was the 3-month ownership. And the only reason it's aluminium is because I can't find a blue one anywhere. I keep looking, but I've had no luck so far finding a sapphire blue high front mudguard for this bike. So yeah, that's the beak. The fog lights, these are cheap Amazon fog lights. I got them for Christmas, actually. And for what they are, they're not too bad. They are currently wired straight off the battery, so I have to remember to turn them off. You get this little switch cube here. So yeah, I do have to remember to turn them off, otherwise it does run the battery down. So there we go, there they are. Showing these daylight is pretty pointless because you don't really see the full effect. But they have 2 modes. That's the high mode, and then you turn it off and on again, and then that's a slightly lower mode. And if you want to be illegal, you can turn it off and back on again and have disco mode. Fitting them was pretty easy, and then all they needed was some brackets, which you won't see these very well, but this here is the bracket. I need to do another one of these because this one's actually snapped, as you can see there. But they are 3D printed. I know why that snapped. It's not just because it was a crap print. It was actually me. I accidentally sort of bashed into this in the garage a few weeks ago, and that's what broke it. It wasn't because of bad print. The other one's fine, the other side. Again, pure daylight, you won't really tell the difference. But I have installed some Philips, is it called White Power? No, that's not right, is it? Bright Power, I don't know. Text on the screen for what they're actually called. Some Philips H4 bulbs, which they're just whiter than the original sort of standard yellowish sort of colour. So it's a brighter, whiter light, and it looks a lot better than this sort of yellowy, old school halogen glow that the original H4 bulbs give. Just recently I've also fitted this Tiger radiator guard. That was from Square Deals. That was a nice easy fit. It just it almost just clips on, but there's just one fixing point at the bottom there that it attaches to. Very easy to fit, very cheap, and yeah, just makes it look a little bit better at the front there. Up next I have these Bad Dog. In fact, you won't see them very well because the handguards are in the way. Bad Dog short brake and clutch lever with the little adjustable piece there. These are a lot better. I prefer the feel of these. I've even put a set of these on the GPZ as well. So yeah, a short brake and clutch lever set. They are from Sports Bike Shop for, I think they're about 60 quid for the pair, I think it was. I have got rid of the crappy Jivvy rear hugger that was on this, which it literally came to about there. And it was completely useless. The back end used to get so messy. I fitted a Power Bronze carbon fibre effect rear hugger and chain guard all in one unit. I think it looks pretty nice, and it does a much better job of the Jivvy one. Now the Jivvy one has actually left a mark on the swing arm. That there is just from where the old one was rubbing. It turns out the one of the mounting points of the old one, it actually cracked. So yeah, it was actually rubbing on the swing arm, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world really. I've still got the ridiculously humongous top box, the 56 litre Jivvy top box. That's, well, it's great for when you got a lot of stuff, but most of the time what I've got in there, it only half fills it, so I am looking to get a slightly smaller one. Oh, and I almost forgot, I have installed some lowering dog bone links. These things here, they lower the back end by 35mm apparently, and yeah, it's just that little bit lower. I'm a lot more comfortable coming to a stop and putting my foot down, which is ideal really. So it's not taking too much off, but it's just enough for me to be a bit more comfortable. So this is as close to an XRX low as I could actually get. Also, there is now an Arrow silencer, which is surprisingly not as loud as I thought it would be. But that's actually a good thing, because I wanted something to just give it a little bit of a better sound, slightly louder, but not too loud. And this Arrow does the trick. This was second hand off eBay, decent price. And yeah, I've fitted it straight on. easy enough, and not had to do any remapping or anything. It's not that noticeably louder than the stock exhaust when it's idling, but when you open it up, it does start to, the sort of sporty feel to it starts to kick in, and the throttle is a little bit more lively now, which is great. So yeah, I quite like having the arrow on there, so yeah, that's going to stay. Oh, also, it pops and crackles on the overrun very nicely. So that's it for the extra bits and pieces that I've put on. We are currently sitting at nearly 40,000 miles. Oh, yeah, we are actually about to hit 40,000 miles. Excellent. I suppose, before we get going, I should let you hear the arrow exhaust. So yeah, sounds a lot better, but at idle it's not much louder, which is good. So if you do want to keep it sort of calm through town and whatnot, it's you're not annoying anybody with obnoxious noise. But out on the fast roads, you can open it up and it sounds bloody awesome. Okay, so that's it with the additions. We'll turn around and get off this road, and I shall talk a little bit more about what it's been like to live with over the last 12 months. One thing I will say, the turning circle on this isn't as good as what I expected it to be. Yeah. No, ground's a little bit too rough for paddling. I can sort of paddle this now I've got the lowering kit on. When I had a go on the new Tiger 900 the other week, that has a bit of a better turning circle, or it certainly feels like it. Yeah, that's about the only bit of off-roading I'll be doing on the Tiger. I don't mind doing it there because it's pretty tame. So on the previous ownership review video, I think I mentioned a weird thing about the fuel gauge, where it will sort of go a bit weird. It will show completely empty, but I'd have only recently filled it. I've only had that come back once, so I think there is a bit of a blip going on somewhere. I've no idea what it is, but it's done it once more since the last time I mentioned it. So it's very rare that it actually happens, at least. I can live with that. I've had no other problems with this at all. It went in for one of its big services. What would have been the 36,000 mile service earlier this year. It needed a few bits doing, actually. Needed new headstock bearings, a new chain and sprockets as well. Also, since the last review video, this has been involved in 2 collisions. The first one I can't really talk about because that's still ongoing, I'm afraid. I basically, without going into too much detail, I ended up hitting the side of a van twice. The damage report on that one for the bike was pretty minimal. It just needed the forks it needed the forks undoing and the steering all straightening out, and then it was fine. The van, however, I think might have been a write-off. I'm not sure yet. Like I say, I'm still waiting to hear what the outcome is. More damage was done to the van, that's for sure. And the second one, if you watch the channel, you would have seen it. That's where I got rear-ended at these very traffic lights. So yeah, these turned to red. I came to a stop. The car behind me didn't, and yeah, I got rear-ended. And luckily, there was no damage done. It had just broken my the number plate bracket and the under tray at the back. So, but that was all done and dusted all through the insurance, no problem. So yeah, these can take a bit of a beating. Now, I was watching Tremorsphere, because he mentioned this in one of his recent videos, about the 800 frame has a bit of a downside to it, that because it's all one solid frame, the rear pillion pegs are mounted straight onto the frame, and they're quite easy to bend or catch. They're most likely to catch on something or dig in or bend or break or whatever in the event of a crash. And if that happens, that's it, the frame written off, new frame job. Quite expensive. So yeah, that is one downside to these things. Luckily, mine's fine after the few bashes it's had in the last year. But yeah, otherwise I've got no real issues to report really. I've got a couple of dislikes, and they're only minor. It's all relating to the display actually. I know that this is from a little slightly older era, and it's much better on the newer ones. But I would prefer it if the buttons for changing the mode and the information were on the handlebars instead of up there, because then I won't have to move my hands to. If I wanted to see what my average miles per gallon is or something, I could just do it straight from the handlebars instead of having to reach over and get it. And that's a bit tricky with me at the minute because I've got this phone mount there. I have to sort of scoot around it. So it's not very often I actually change the display. I usually wait until I've stopped to do that because it's just easier. And my other little complaint is that there's no mode that displays your odometer permanently. When you turn the ignition on, it brings up your odometer, so you can see how many miles you've done in total. But it doesn't stay on it. It switches to either whatever mode you're in on the trip computer. And there's not one there's not one way you can set it to be showing your mileage. So that's again minor things, but I like to be able to see that sort of information. But other than that, I can't really think of any other things I dislike about it. So, that just leaves me with the things I love about it. It's perfectly practical for what I want it for. Fuel consumption's pretty decent. I still, even after changing the exhaust, I'm still getting about 200 miles to a tank. No real complaints there. Comfort-wise, absolutely fine. I've done a few long trips on this now, and I don't get anywhere near as fatigued than what I would have done on the GPZ. If I could take one feature off one of the newer models and have on this bike, it would be cruise control. The rest I can deal with the rest of not having different rider modes and things like that. I can live with that. But yeah, to have cruise control would be so nice. So yeah, this has been a great bike. I think I made the right choice when I bought it. It's going to suit me well for another few more years to come. Hopefully a lot more years, I reckon. We'll see. Because realistically, I doubt I would be getting a Tiger 900. As much as I definitely have one, I can't afford one. So well, it's not true actually. I could go out today and put a deposit down, trade this in, get a Tiger 900. It would have to be on PCP. But I don't want to do PCP ever again. It's horrible. Don't do a PCP. So yeah, Tiger 800, it's a damn good bike, but I think we knew that already. So that has been my 1 year ownership review of my Tiger 800. I hope you found that useful. If you've got anything to say, leave it in the comments section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Oh, chips. Oh, I would have got free ice cream then. Oh, that Moto Guzzi adventure bike. Nice.